If I could check only 5 health habits, I would check these first: sleep, walking, strength, food patterns, recovery. Not because they are trendy, not because they are perfect, because these 5 habits tell me more about your long-term health than almost any wellness trend, and they are usually where the biggest changes begin. Most people imagine health as one dramatic decision: a new supplement, a new diet, a new device, a new rule that finally changes everything. But in real life, long-term health is usually quieter than that. Today, I want to show you the 5 daily signals I would look at first. The signal you send your brain when you sleep, your heart when you move, your muscles when you lift or push or pull, your metabolism when you eat in a way your body can recognize, and your nervous system when you let it recover. This video is not personal medical advice. If you have a medical condition, take medication, are pregnant, are older, or have symptoms that worry you, talk to your clinician before changing your routine. But for general health education, these 5 habits are a very good place to begin. They are not magic. They are not a cure. They are the basics that many people skip while looking for something more complicated. The first habit is sleep. And I want to say this plainly. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is one of the main ways your body organizes repair, memory, appetite signals, immune function, mood, and energy. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute says most adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That does not mean everyone needs exactly the same number. It means that if someone is regularly sleeping 5 or 6 hours and wondering why their energy, cravings, mood, or workouts feel unstable, sleep is one of the first places I would look. A practical sleep habit starts before bedtime. Many people treat sleep like a switch. They work, scroll, eat late, answer messages, watch one more video, then expect the body to shut down on command. But the body usually responds better to a ramp than a switch. A consistent wake time, morning light when possible, caffeine earlier in the day, a wind-down routine, and a bedroom that is dark, cool, and quiet can all help send a clearer signal. Here is the simple question I would ask. Do you have a repeatable sleep window, or do you renegotiate sleep every night? Because if sleep changes every day, the rest of the system has to adapt every day. Hunger can feel louder, motivation can feel lower, pain can feel sharper, stress can feel bigger. Again, sleep does not solve every problem, but poor sleep can make many problems harder to manage. The second habit is walking and cardio. The CDC recommends that adults get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity each week, plus 2 days of muscle strengthening activity. That sounds formal, but the practical version is simple. Your body is designed to move often, not just exercise occasionally. A 30-minute walk most days is not glamorous. It does not look like a transformation montage, but for many people, it is one of the most realistic ways to support the heart, circulation, blood sugar control, mood, and energy. The mistake is thinking exercise only counts if it is intense. Intensity can be useful, but consistency is the foundation. If a habit is so hard that you can only do it for 2 weeks, it is not really a habit yet. Walking after meals, taking the stairs, parking farther away, doing a 10-minute walk when 30 feels impossible, these are not silly small things. They are votes for a more active body. A practical cardio check is this. Can you move at a pace where your breathing increases, but you can still speak in short sentences? That is often a useful sign of moderate intensity. You do not need to turn every walk into a test, but you do want your body to regularly remember what steady movement feels like. If you have chest pain, severe shortness of breath, dizziness, or a heart condition, this is exactly where you talk to your clinician first. The third habit is strength. This one is often misunderstood. Strength training is not only about looking muscular. Muscle is a reserve system. It helps with balance, glucose use, joint support, daily function, and independence as we age. If you want to carry groceries, climb stairs, get off the floor, protect your back, or stay active later in life, strength matters. You do not have to start with a gym identity. You can start with resistance bands, bodyweight squats to a chair, wall push-ups, light dumbbells, slow step-ups, or guided beginner routines. The principle is progressive challenge. The body adapts when you ask a little more from it over time. Not all at once. Not through pain. Not through punishment. Through repeatable effort. A simple strength question is, do your muscles get asked to work against resistance at least twice a week? The CDC includes muscle strengthening activity in its adult guidance for a reason. Walking is excellent, but walking does not fully replace strength work. Cardio asks the heart and lungs to adapt. Strength asks muscle, bone, tendons, and coordination to adapt. A healthy plan usually needs both. The fourth habit is food quality and metabolic stability. I am not going to tell you that one diet is perfect for everyone. That is usually where health advice becomes too loud. But there are patterns that show up again and again in public health guidance and long-term nutrition research. More minimally processed foods, more plants, enough protein, enough fiber, fewer sugary drinks, fewer ultra-processed snacks, and meals you can repeat without feeling trapped. NIH research has linked healthier eating patterns in midlife with better odds of healthy aging decades later. That does not mean food gives you total control. Genetics, environment, income, stress, medication, sleep, and medical conditions all matter. But food is still one of the main daily inputs your body receives. The question is not, did I eat perfectly today? The better question is, what pattern am I practicing most days? A practical plate does not need to be complicated. Start by looking for protein, fiber-rich carbohydrates, healthy fats, and colorful plants. For many people, that might mean eggs or yogurt with fruit, beans and rice with vegetables, fish with potatoes and salad, lentil soup, chicken with whole grains, tofu with stir-fried vegetables, or a simple meal that does not come mostly from a package. The goal is not to be impressive. The goal is to be repeatable. Metabolic stability often begins with reducing the biggest swings. Sugary drinks are a good example. They are easy to consume quickly, easy to underestimate, and easy to repeat. Replacing some sugary drinks with water, unsweetened tea, or another lower sugar option can be a practical first step for many people. If you have diabetes, kidney disease, an eating disorder history, or take medication that affects blood sugar, get personal guidance before making major changes. The fifth habit is recovery from stress. Stress is not automatically bad. The body is built to handle challenges. Exercise is a stress. Learning is a stress. Raising a family, working, solving problems, all of these ask something from the body. The issue is not stress itself. The issue is stress without enough recovery. When the nervous system never gets a clear signal of safety, sleep can suffer, appetite can shift, patience can shrink, and the body can feel like it is always bracing. Recovery does not have to be dramatic. It can be a 10-minute walk without your phone. It can be slow breathing before bed. It can be a real lunch break. It can be sunlight in the morning, a conversation with someone safe, a consistent bedtime, or saying no to one extra thing you do not actually have capacity for. If stress feels overwhelming, persistent, or connected to depression, panic, trauma, or thoughts of self-harm, that is not a habit problem. That is a reason to seek professional support. Now, here's the important part. These 5 habits are connected. Sleep affects energy for walking. Walking can improve sleep pressure. Strength training can improve how your body handles food. Food patterns can affect energy and cravings. Recovery makes consistency more realistic. This is why I do not like health advice that turns the body into separate compartments. Your body is one system. The habits talk to each other. So if you want to start today, do not start with everything. Start with the habit that is most obviously missing. If sleep is chaotic, build a sleep window. If you barely move, walk for 10 minutes after one meal. If you never train strength, do 2 simple resistance sessions this week. If food feels random, build 1 repeatable meal. If stress never comes down, create 1 daily recovery signal. Make it small enough to repeat, because repetition is where the body starts to believe you. Here is the checklist. 1. 7 to 9 hours in a repeatable sleep window when possible. 2. Regular walking or moderate cardio across the week. 3. Strength work at least twice a week, scaled to your body. 4. Food patterns built around protein, fiber, plants, and fewer high-sugar, ultra-processed defaults. 5. Daily recovery that tells your nervous system the day is allowed to end. Not perfect. Repeatable. Let me make this even more practical. Imagine 2 people who both want to get healthier. The first person tries to change everything on Monday. New diet, new workout plan, new supplements, new bedtime, new morning routine. For 3 days, it feels impressive. By Friday, it feels like a second job. The second person chooses 1 anchor habit. They walk for 10 minutes after dinner. They do it for 2 weeks. Then they add a regular bedtime. then 2 strength sessions. 6 months later, the second person has a system. The first person has another abandoned plan. This is why I care more about repeatability than intensity at the beginning. A habit that is small enough to survive a stressful week is more valuable than a perfect routine that collapses as soon as life gets busy. Your real health plan has to work on normal days, not just ideal days. It has to work when you are tired. It has to work when work runs late. It has to work when your motivation is not dramatic. That is where practical health lives. So here is how I would choose the first habit. Do not choose the one that sounds most impressive. Choose the one that removes the biggest obstacle. If low sleep is driving cravings and low energy, start with sleep. If you sit all day and feel stiff, start with walking. If you feel weaker than you used to, start with strength. If meals are chaotic, start with one repeatable meal. If stress is constantly high, start with one recovery signal every day. The best first habit is the one that makes the next habit easier. And please do not confuse simple with weak. Brushing your teeth is simple. Seat belts are simple. Washing your hands is simple. Simple actions can have enormous value because they are repeatable. Health advice often becomes complicated because complicated sounds more important. But the body does not reward complexity by itself. The body responds to signals: sleep, movement, strength, food, recovery, repeated often enough to become normal. There is also a mental shift here. You are not trying to become a different person overnight. You are trying to become someone your body can trust. When bedtime is random, meals are random, movement is random, and stress never comes down, the body spends a lot of energy adapting. When the basics become more predictable, the body gets clearer signals. That does not make life perfect. It makes the foundation less shaky. If you like tracking, track the simplest version. Hours slept, minutes walked, strength sessions completed, number of mostly balanced meals, one recovery action. If tracking makes you anxious, do not track everything. Just put a check mark on the calendar for the one habit you are building. The goal is feedback, not guilt. A good health system should make you more honest and more capable, not more ashamed. A simple first week could look like this. For sleep, choose a wake time and protect it for 7 days. For movement, walk 10 minutes after one meal. For strength, do 2 short sessions: squats to a chair, wall push-ups, rows with a band, or another beginner movement that feels safe for your body. For food, choose one meal that you can repeat without decision fatigue. For recovery, put one 10-minute quiet block on the calendar like it is an appointment. That is enough for week 1. Then week 2, you do not throw the plan away. You adjust it. If 10 minutes of walking was easy, make it 15. If the strength session made you sore for 4 days, reduce it and learn the right starting point. If the bedtime was unrealistic, move it by 15 minutes, not 2 hours. Practical health is not about forcing your body to obey a fantasy schedule. It is about building a schedule your real life can repeat. And one final point: if you miss a day, you have not failed. You have data. Maybe the habit was too big. Maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe the trigger was unclear. Maybe you need support. The people who succeed long-term are not the people who never miss. They are the people who return quickly, without turning one missed day into a missed month. That is the quiet skill underneath every health habit: returning without drama, noticing what happened, and making the next repetition easier tomorrow. That is how a routine becomes durable. Next time, we are going to look at sleep more closely. Scene 1. Why 8 hours can still leave you tired. Scene 2. The difference between sleep time and sleep quality. Scene 3. The evening mistakes that quietly train your brain to stay awake. If you want practical health guides without the hype, subscribe to the Practical Health Doctor.